Now, here's where it gets a little dicey. When a guy is in his falsetto register, if he hasn't built it yet, we're going to talk about how to do it, and we'll do some exercises in a minute. Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I get asked this a lot. How do I grow my head voice? Well, head voice actually, by definition, might mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Now, I've discussed this before, and I do have other videos out on head voice, but I want to make this really simple and precise and concise, okay? First of all, the old operatic style of singing called bel canto refers to head voice as anything that resonates in the head. So when Pavarotti sings Nes in Dorma and he's going Vincerò, and he's in the big note at the end, that would be considered head voice. For the soprano, her way up in the rafters and her singing, for her, that's head voice. In the early 70s, in the Broadway era, as it started to kind of float around where these different definitions started to have a continental drift between the two, early bel canto and then sort of, belting and all this stuff that came in Broadway. What that definition meant for the female voice was literally her falsetto. I mean, it really was interchangeable. It was synonymous with falsetto. For the male tenor, it still meant anything that resonated in the head. And so there became this sort of weird conflict information battle that went back and forth of what head voice really is. So I like to think of head voice, personally, for both the male and the female, as your falsetto register. Now, here's where it gets a little dicey. When a guy is in his falsetto register, if he hasn't built it yet, we're going to talk about how to do it, and we'll do some exercises in a minute. It's usually very hooty and fluty. Right? And so that definition of head voice to me should just still be called falsetto. Okay? Now there's another term called reinforced falsetto and all these different, things, right? Now, reinforced falsetto, right? So that reinforced falsetto is more in alignment with the definition of what I like or would determine as head voice, okay? So reinforced falsetto, head voice can be a little interchangeable. Now for the gals too, even though they're in the rafters or something, they may be hooty and fluty. They may have that sound, and that's still just falsetto. I wouldn't really refer to that as head voice. Now head voice can take on a lot of different characteristics, but for now, what we want to do, and by the way, why is head voice important? Let's discuss that. So we know what I like to call head voice. Why is it important? When you first build your chest voice, your speaking register and your call out register, it's called the call register, or your belting register. After you've built that, it's important to build that first because it's the foundation that holds up the brightness and the power of your head voice, okay? Now, the difference between your chest voice and your head voice has this mid voice thing that's called secondo passaggio, or second passageway, which is that register break that people have, guys and girls, mostly guys, it's more pronounced in guys, but it's this register break where we have something called mixed voice, or to mix your voice, okay? And that's a percentage of your chest voice and your head voice coming together to create one long seamless note. Okay, so we can actually connect chest and head and get a really big, huge, long, powerful note with a lot of range. But until you build your chest voice first, please see my tutorials on this. I've got a lot of things about building chest voice. If you're interested, you can go to KenTamplinVocalAcademy.com. I have an incredible course called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. I have a 3.0 course that walks, you'll probably never finish it. It's pretty involved. Or you can start it real simple with my 30-minute singer course, and it'll walk you through the basics on how to build your chest voice. The 3.0 streaming course goes all the way to the end on your head voice and combining the two. And I have 1,800 tutorials on YouTube, so you can kind of Google YouTube, and figure that out. And I have a free singing forum, by the way. You can find it right here, Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, /forums or whatever, where you can sign up for free with over 20,000 1,000 people in there all discussing how to get good at these different techniques. So anyway, back to the head voice. So once you've built chest voice, it's the foundation that holds up your head voice to help you, to keep you from getting that hooty fluty sound if that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for that really belty, powerful sound that you want to be able to connect chest with head through the passaggio and your mixed voice to create different variations of color in the sound, or volume, or air and breath. Now, when we first start to build this is very important. We want to start with smaller sounds. I like to choose E first because it's the smallest sound. Now, in singing, sometimes E and U could be the hardest vowels to sing in a song. But as we're warming up and doing this for this application and this purpose, we actually want to keep the sounds really, really small. So on an E vowel, and this might be a little high for some of you guys, and ladies, please, I'm going to start at your register. So guys, this is up the octave. So wait until I'll even tell you when to come in. So ladies, we're going to start with you. And you're going, now, what I want you to do is to cut back the air as much as you can and get the brightest timbre that you can. Now, what happens with a lot of people is they get frustrated and they want to sing loud, right? They want to go into the gym and they want to pick up big weights right away. We don't want to do that because the equilibrium will break down. And when that breaks down, all you're doing is breaking down muscle structure. You're not building it. So we want to do both. We want to break down enough to where we can wait a day, come back, do it again, and build it back up to grow this area. So that's called up here. It's actually this note. Okay, that's called an F sharp 5. So as we, get the brightest timbre you can. Now, I have coined a lot of phrases, and that particular phrase is ping is king. Ping is king. You want the least amount of air to pass across the chord so the chord has more tension in it. You know, your vocal folds have more tension in it to stay bright on the sound. So let's do the next one. Now, the lower you go in your registration, the harder it's going to be to get those chords to stay closed and to stay bright on the sound. So the way you countermand that or overcome it is to back off the sound so you can stay bright, because you want to keep that bright ping all the way to the bottom as much as you can without it sounding hooty or fluty or using too much air. Okay, now for some of you guys out there, you might be able to join in about here. See, even in my lower register, even as I'm going low, it still sounds bright, almost kind of like my chest voice. Keep the brightness. Okay, so now if it bloats or is over bloated with air, it's going to on the low end. You don't want that. You want to just go only as low as you can to keep it nice and bright, and eventually you'll start to build that registration lower with this bright tone, and then once you're really good at it, you'll be able to combine your chest with your head to go back and forth to complete this big, long, powerful note. Now, one more thing. You can go through all the vowels that I just did, but I'd recommend on staying E and U. So let's go. Sing too loud. Okay, Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. That would be really cool. And again, check out my free singing forums. If you think this was helpful, check out my course. If you want to just kind of kick the tires a little bit, go check out all my tutorials. I have, like I said, over 1,800 tutorials on YouTube. And we just hit 200 million views on the channel. So 200 million people couldn't be wrong. Come check us out. Hopefully I'll see you around KTVA. And until next time, God bless. Peace out.